And Industrial Safety Agency says an explosion has been reported near the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power plant. The Tokyo Electric Company says some workers on the ground were injured. A witness reported hearing the blast and seeing smoke at around 4 p.m. on Saturday. The agency is investigating. Once again, the Nuclear and Industrial Safety Agency says an explosion has been reported near the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power plant. The Tokyo Electric Company says some workers on the ground were injured. A witness reported hearing the blast and seeing smoke at around 4 p.m. on Saturday. The agency is investigating. We will of course update you as we receive more information on the situation. Japan's Transport Ministry says about 80,000 people live within a 10-kilometer radius of the Fukushima No. 1 plant. The government issued an evacuation advisory for the area and has prepared over 100 buses to transport residents to safer ground. Government officials say evacuations began at 10 a.m. Japan time. Japan's health ministry says it is sending an emergency medical team to the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power plant. It says the team is on standby in the event of a possible radiation leakage. The team left the National Institute of Radiological Sciences in Chiba City near Tokyo on a self-defense force helicopter on Saturday morning. REMAT, the Radiation Emergency Medical Assistance Team, is made up of doctors, nurses and experts on radiation measurement. It has arrived at a nuclear disaster response centre about 5 kilometres from the power plant. Back to the story of Japan's nuclear emergency now, and concerns about one reactor that is dangerously close to overheating. All nuclear power plants have some form of backup water system in case of an emergency, but as we've been reporting, the system failed at that nuclear power plant in Fukushima Prefecture. The mechanism to cool the reactor is called ECCS, or the Emergency Core Cooling System. ECCS is made up of a series of systems designed to safely shut down a nuclear reactor during serious accidents. It provides emergency cooling water to the core of the reactor to keep it from overheating. Under normal conditions, heat is removed from a nuclear reactor by condensing steam after it passes through a turbine. The condensed steam is then fed back into the reactor and through the heat exchanger, which keeps the reactor core at a constant temperature. The quake-hit Fukushima No. 1 plant has a total of 13 diesel generators to operate the ECCS. But the operator of the plant, Tokyo Electric Power Company, says all the generators failed because of the quake. Despite officials saying there is no immediate danger, fears of a nuclear accident are growing. What can members of the public do to protect themselves if the unthinkable happens? Radioactive materials are leaked in the form of gas. Experts say people in the danger zones need to cover their mouths and noses with wet towels. Skin should also be covered. The face, hands and clothes all need to be washed after coming indoors. Internal exposure from food is another risk. This can cause radiation to accumulate in the body with long-term health effects. Vegetables and other fresh food should be avoided along with tap water until authorities give the all clear. The scale of the death and destruction is growing worse by the hour. It's all been caused by powerful tsunami waves that were triggered by a magnitude 8.8 quake. The tremor is the largest on record in Japan. The northern prefecture of Miyagi was hit hardest. The quake there measured an intensity of 7 on the Japanese scale of 0 to 7. A tsunami pounded Sendai City, washing inland 10 kilometers. Police say among the number of dead, 400 to 500 bodies have yet to be identified. In other parts of Miyagi Prefecture, 149 people have been confirmed dead. Rescue and identification efforts are being slowed because much of the area is underwater. In Kesennuma City, a fire engulfed much of the Bay Area. The Fire and Disaster Management Agency says the flames may have been sparked after oil leaked from a tank following a tsunami. In neighbouring Fukushima Prefecture, 190 people have been confirmed dead. A tsunami higher than 7.3 metres hit a port in the prefecture. Wide stretches of the coastline are still flooded. The Meteorological Agency says many tidal stations on the coastal areas of Tohoku, Hokkaido and Kanto cannot get data on tsunami. It says the accurate height of the waves will be hard to measure. In Iwate Prefecture, at least 221 people have been confirmed dead. About 200 others are reported missing following a tsunami. In Tokyo and neighbouring prefectures, 40 people have died, some after being hit by falling debris. Again, the number of dead across Japan has reached 1,000. Japan has never experienced a magnitude 8.8 earthquake. Shaking of that intensity alone is enough to cause severe damage, but the devastation this time is compounded by a relentless tsunami. To understand how the tidal waves act and the damage they can do, we spoke to Professor Teruyuki Kato of the University of Tokyo's Earthquake Research Institute.
Why was the height of the tsunami so different from place to place?
I think the most important factor is the landforms. In case that the line of seashore is very complicated, especially when there is a deep bay, so that the distance between the one end to the other is getting narrower and narrower to the deepest part of the bay, then the tsunami will be very much exaggerated relative to other areas. In the case of Soma, this is the area where the seashore is rather flat. So we are a little bit puzzled why the tsunami at Soma is so high. Probably there are many other factors. For example, the tsunami may be exaggerated by kind of the multiple waves coming from different ways, and they are added each other, so that the tsunami might have exaggerated in that area. But we have to examine much more carefully in the coming days.
It's been more than 24 hours since the earthquake struck, and we're still seeing tsunami occurring. Why is this happening?
Usually, if the earthquake magnitude is 8 or less, the length of the tsunami would be several hours or at most 10 hours. However, if the magnitude of earthquake is bigger than 8.5 or larger, then the duration of tsunami will become nearly 1 day. So that is so bad situation, but we have to think if such a mega earthquake of magnitude nearby 9 occurs, we have to be patient until all of tsunami is gone, which takes about 1 day. Usually, when the large earthquake occurs, then we have to be careful about the aftershocks of that earthquake. However, in such a big earthquake of magnitude 9 or such large earthquake, then the effect of earthquake is much, much bigger to the nearby areas. In such case, we have to be careful about other triggered earthquakes of magnitude 7 or larger. And so, for example, in case of Sumatra earthquake, after that earthquake, several years, the crust was so very much activated. So we have to be careful for the coming several or 10 of years that the large earthquake may occur in the surrounding areas.
Now we go to live footage from Ichihara City in Chiba Prefecture. This is Ichihara City in Chiba Prefecture, where an oil factory. Oh, it looks like we've lost that link. Apologies for that. We'll get that back as soon as we can. Let me go to some other parts of Japan for you. This is Shinchi Town in Fukushima Prefecture. There was a rail station here with the town surrounding it. As you can see now, there is virtually nothing left of that. You can see that a passenger train has run off the rails and fallen to the ground there. We have information that all the passengers were able to escape before the tsunami came. You can see a car also lodged in the mud there next to the train, and quite a bit of debris around there as well. Area still looking pretty waterlogged there. Passenger train is obviously split into 3 pieces there. Ground looking fairly unstable there. With so much water still left. And here's a different part of the same Shinchi town in Fukushima Prefecture. You can see there's still a lot of water around here as well. A bridge here has collapsed, and you can see that the road beyond the bridge is also looking quite badly damaged. It looks like there may have been some sort of structure there that's also collapsed. Moving further up that road to the other side of the bridge, you can see a lot of debris on the ground there, and quite large areas of water to the right of the screen as well. The road, even moving up, is really quite severely damaged. Just destruction spreading there. This is Miyako City in Iwate Prefecture just after the quake on Friday afternoon. You can see an awful lot of cars and tanks being washed away by the waves there. And this is news just in. The Tokyo Electric Power Company says several workers at a damaged nuclear power plant have been injured in an explosion. The blast at the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power plant occurred at around 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. Once again, the Tokyo Electric Power Company says several workers at a damaged nuclear power plant have been injured in an explosion. The blast at the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power plant occurred at around 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. Japanese government experts say the magnitude 8.8 earthquake may have occurred across a wider area than they initially thought. Experts on the Earthquake Research Committee say several earthquake focal regions were synchronized in a way they hadn't expected. The committee held an extraordinary meeting on Friday night. Its chairman told a news conference that an observation using a GPS earthquake tracker showed that the ground at the observatory had moved about 4 meters to the east. The committee concluded that all 4 expected focal regions were synchronized. The 4 regions cover a stretch of a few hundred kilometers from waters off Miyagi Prefecture to waters off Ibaraki Prefecture. The committee's chairman said further evaluation of the quake is needed when more data has been collected. He said only then will it be possible to determine whether a quake with a magnitude of 7.3 on Wednesday was the warning of the bigger quake that followed. Japan's meteorological agency is warning people living along the Pacific coast to stay on alert. It says more tsunami could hit the country's shore.
The possibility of tsunami with a height of 10 meters or higher is getting slimmer, but we're still calling on people living along the coast of Tohoku region to be cautious because tsunami as high as 3 meters or more could still hit the area.
Hirofumi Yokoyama says in case evacuees return home, they should be extra careful because they can be exposed to dangers once again from aftershocks and tsunami. He's also warning residents against possible building collapses and mudslides. Japan's Health and Welfare Ministry says the quake has left at least 1.1 million households without a water supply. The ministry says that 470,000 households are without water in Ibaraki Prefecture as the water purification plants have stopped supplying water. A Chiba government official says 310,000 households there are without water. In Miyagi Prefecture, 87,000 households have been confirmed out of water. In Iwate Prefecture, 8,000 households are out of water. The Health and Welfare Ministry has been collecting information on the water supply failure. 18 water trucks have been reportedly sent to Miyagi, Tochigi, Ibaraki and Chiba prefectures.